What's up, guys? Jason here, Morph, Mixology, Reptile. Welcome back to the channel and to what I'm expecting to be probably one of the most fun and hopefully kind of off the cuff and wild live streams that we've had so far. Our past guests have been great. I've been really fortunate actually to have some really cool guests on and some really good friends. But I mean, aside from probably Sean Bradley, who's impossible to schedule, by the way, I've tried. Chris is got to be one of the biggest voices, one of the loudest voices in the hobby, if nothing else. So, and he's got that New Yorker edge to him that I'm hoping I can just light up and turn him loose. But real quick, before I get started, I have to plug a huge shout out to, obviously, I've been watching the comments here, and HB Reptiles, Herbert, is almost always in here well in advance of the live stream. He's usually an hour or more ahead of his schedule. But he got beat out this week by Vivid Scales. And it looks like by about 11 or 12 minutes. So, I mean, Herbert, you got to step up your gang. But I do have one huge announcement I want to make. And please bear with me. This is not a finished product. This is new information as of less than an hour ago. But the channel, and more importantly, the weekly Mixology open mic live stream interviews, and I don't like calling it a podcast. I call it a vidcast, I guess, is my kind of thing. But the weekly Mixology open mic interviews are now formally sponsored by my man Herbert at HB Reptiles. So huge thank you to Herbert for getting on board. We will get a far more official graphic and get his plug. All of his information will be in the description of every video moving forward for the live stream. So huge thank you to him. That was kind of out of left field that he hit me up about it, but super excited to have him on board. So without further ado, we've got obviously the usual suspects in the comments. I love seeing that early on. Got some other ones that we don't see regularly, but I hope they stick around. There's where'd they go? I saw Marita's up in here. I know that's probably for Chris. You're definitely a Chris fan, but welcome to the channel for sure. Got Shane Smalltown, Jeremy Bod, Corey Heft, another buddy of mine down in Denver. So really excited to see all you. But this is not about me, man. This is about the man of the evening. The fat man himself, freaking Chris, man. What's up?
What's up, brother? What's going on? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thank you. Like this, I know you got a busy schedule and you're doing your show, trying to stay up on that. What's that, 2 a month, I guess you're doing now? And
2 a month and a YouTube channel now too.
Nice. Yeah. So I know you're a busy dude and you're high profile now as far as the interview segment is concerned. I mean, you're getting all the big players on. That's so the fact that I was able to coordinate to have you in was kind of cool. So I appreciate it.
Well, we started out with Ralph Davis, and Ralph doesn't do any interviews at all, you know. So we kind of set the bar kind of high right from the get-go. You know, you couldn't have Ralph Davis on 1 month and then Jerry from Alabama on the second. You know, so now we just keep trying to get bigger and bigger names, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, and that's kind of what we're doing here. The difference between, I guess, my YouTube podcast or whatever and a lot of the other ones, because it seems like, you know, 2020 and COVID and all that crap kind of was the birth of everybody either having a YouTube channel or a podcast or both and whatnot. And I think it's great. And it gives the people an opportunity to get together, chat, and, you know, new people can come in and listen and get, you know, input and stuff from other people. But my approach was a little bit different. I didn't want to just go out and rack off the same dozen people that everybody's had, you know, the Aussies and the Justins and the Billies, and, you know, and we'll get to those guys. But the big one for me was a lot of the people that either have been important contributors or support or whatever in our journey and friends of mine journey, or kind of, the more of the little man, my side of the hobby in that. So we've had a lot of friends and people, like Josh Lundberg and that, who arguably is top tier as far as production and quality and that goes, but is not necessarily top of mind. And when everybody starts a podcast or whatever, but he's been with me since day one. So it's been a really, really fun experience in that regard. And, I picked up your stuff right alongside Sean Bradley's, and right. I still listen to it every time you put one up. So it's, it's cool to be able to bring you on as well. Yeah.
Josh is kind of becoming a big shot. I've known Josh for a couple of years now, and that dude goes out of his way to do everything he can for every customer that he has, and
no doubt.
The last time I saw him was in Daytona a year ago or 2 years ago. But yeah, he's one of the top guys now. I would put him in my top 10 right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if nothing else, just the sheer quality of stuff that he's producing and the volume he's doing it at is insane.
Right.
We had him on and he was talking about the scale that he's gotten to. He's in that class of 200, 300 clutches a year, which is, right, as far as I'm concerned, is absurd. But
yeah, it's crazy talk. That's it's full-time job when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me, obviously the channel and the group of people that come to watch and all that, we're all snake people. It's all about the snakes, that kind of thing. But I like to get to that last because that's where everybody starts. Everybody's like, "Oh, what are you breeding this year? And how many clutches?" And
I could give a fuck about the snakes.
So I want to know. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on is you've been around the game a long time and long enough to know a lot of the history and a lot of the stories, a lot of the scandal, I guess is the best way to put it. But give us a little bit of your background, where you came from, because I know you're in New York, but am I correct in saying you're actually a Cali kid like us?
No, I'm from New York. Then I moved out to California.
Okay.
Back to New York.
Okay, yeah. So just give us a little, a quick snippet of how we got to here in the Chris Eaton story.
Well, in 2000, I got divorced and I moved out to California, and my girlfriend at the time had 7 or 8 big Burmese, pythons.
Okay.
And that's basically how I got back into it, and we started going to shows. We bought an albino ball python in 2001, which was still about $5 or $6 grand in 2001, and we had no intention of breeding it, but we had about 60 different species of animals, and we were making Hasselhoff money back then, Wow. So we had like big houses, and we had reptile rooms that were 30 by 20 feet, just full of reptiles. And we just pay a guy to clean it and feed them every week, And then when I moved back to New York, I got together with a couple of guys that wanted to do the ball python thing. And that's why, how we started the ball python thing in New York. And then I just got sick of it. I had a fucking stroke at the shop. And, after that, I was just like, nah, this is not for me anymore. I was basically the guy that was there 90% of the time, taking care of the animals and working a full-time job.
Yeah. And so, but you're, it's funny you mentioned the Hasselhoff money. Like when I hear stories of the late 90s, early 2000s reptile game, like you're talking, it almost looked like, when you look back at like the Pete Call era and early Tom Crutchfield and that kind of thing, it looked like Pablo Escobar level, like drug smuggling money. Like they were throwing racks at people. And I was just like, that part of it blows my mind that's even how the history worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was insane, but I really didn't get into because we had the money, we never really thought about it. Like when you have money, you don't really think about, it's $7,000 for a pet or whatever. I really got into the money part when we moved back and we started iBalls, and we only started iBalls 8 years ago. So
Okay.
it's not really like that old. But we
Yeah.
were, we were in there enough to see the people fucking everybody and just doing whatever they can to get an extra $100 out of somebody.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, the new breed of people, like I don't see Josh Lumberg fucking you over for $200, or I
No.
don't see Brittany Gobble fucking you over for $200. But back then, they had no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Like I remember one year at Daytona when bananas were still going for like 800 or $1,000 a piece. One guy was selling them wholesale for like $30 a piece if you bought 50.
Jeez.
So basically nobody else sold a banana at Daytona that year. So I've seen people kill projects. It's just been, there's a different breed now. Like it went from everybody hating each other and wanting to fuck each other to like all these new guys now fucking blowing each other on their YouTube channel for 3 hours at a time, and they've only been doing it for a year, so that
Guilty.
yeah, you're one of them, all right. But actually you've been doing it for longer than a year. But
yeah,
it's a little bit. I kind of. This is gonna sound so dickish to me, but the system is gonna fail. Like you can't be blowing each other all the time for 3 hours at a clip. One day somebody is gonna fuck somebody over, and then it's just gonna go straight to hell and back to the way it used to be from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything. It's there's the pendulum swing kind of deal, and it's funny that you mention it that way because I give you shit, and you were in here last week when I was on, and I give you shit that especially since your medical incident and that you're getting soft in your old age, but it does seem like you almost have to. The older crowd that were out there actually stabbing each other in the back. They became the get off my lawn people as the newer kids started coming in. And at some point they just have to either always be that, or they've just got to like cave and join the system and get their own YouTube channel and Instagram.
I say that as I hope people follow me on Instagram, and I'm starting up a YouTube channel doing lives.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So. But it is what it is. It's basically like if you can't beat them, join them. I mean, it's the same reason I got these fucking stickers, because you people, fucking stickers done. You people do the shirts. You people do the magnets. I'm like, oh fuck, But if you wanna, especially with you calling me fucking old all the time, I want to at least keep up with, with some of these younger people.
Speaking of which, man, I got the sticker. Oh, you can't say I got the sticker door going. I got to get one of the Fat Man stickers up on the door.
Yeah, I'll be all gay and send you.
And I'll make sure to make a big glittery deal about it. And
fantastic.
Yeah.
But now what's cool is that everybody's sending me their stickers now, so I just put it on my Pelican cases when I for when I travel.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Podcast with me. So that's like, that's fun, but it's still a little bit like, what are you, 11? Fucking, you need a sticker. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know.
That's why I everybody should spend at least a little bit of time and money in the branding for their business and the overall experience, especially the unboxing and that. And that's why I went through the process of getting like, all of my packing tape has the logo on it, and I put some stickers in. I've got like pins that you wear on your lanyard or whatever now.
But you have shit to sell.
True.
Dudes that are getting stickers and fucking doing all this shit, and they're like they haven't produced a single snake yet. Somebody brought that up. Corey Gonzalez, I think, brought it up this week. He was like, just because you have a sticker doesn't make you a breeder. And you know, that's actually true. But the fucked up thing is that a lot of these YouTube people are interviewing these people that have never had a clutch, have never had, you know, and they go for fucking 2 and 3 hours at a time. You know, like fucking, we're probably not going to go 2 hours tonight, just so you know. Nobody wants to hear me for 2 hours. You know, who the fuck wants to hear me for 2 hours? Yet, you know, fucking, you know, Billy Joe Schaefer from fucking South Dakota is being interviewed for 3 hours on a fucking live. Nobody cares, man.
Dude, Billy up at Mutation Creation goes 4 hours regularly. Like, that's a regular night for him.
Yeah, but that's fucking Billy, and Billy could fucking talk for 4 hours
forever. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, it's just
you know, it's funny. It's funny. Herbert just mentioned this. He says I had a guy asked to do a sticker swap, and I told him no, I don't have time for that. I cannot tell you how many messages I get in a week asking to do sticker swaps, to follow them on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And most of the time I just delete it, because as far as I'm concerned, I want people to want to send me their stickers for the door. I don't want to just have to send my shit out so I get one back so I can put it up, because I couldn't care less what that one is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you know, it's the stuff. It's like the ones that Billy has on his walls and that. Like, those are people that are fans of his. They're supporters. They send the stuff across the board. Like, hey, I want you to have this, and that's the way. That's the way I think it should be. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment behind a sticker swap or a T-shirt swap or whatever, but at the end of the day, I still got to pay to make this shit, and I can't just be willy-nilly throwing them out there to get some rando sticker on my door that I don't even know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just I really am disappointed in myself that I went and did the stickers, but now I've given out a lot of them, you know. So now it's like I'm gonna have to do a reorder. Then you
how do you defend your boy Shane here?
Oh, Shane, I love Shane to death. Shane, 2020 15 Minutes of Lame winner. Okay, I love that fucking guy. When he sent me his stickers, he sent me stickers, magnets, a handwritten letter on stationery. I felt like dog shit. I was like, I am not doing nearly the shit that Shane does. Yeah. And right after that, I just started doing everything that I copied Shane. So basically my whole gig is copying Shane.
The thing I got to give Shane credit, because we all have our own little twist, you know, and like for mine is during the unboxing experience, the hatch card that you get, and then the stickers on top and my business cards or whatever, they're all pinned together with a white paper clip in the shape of a martini glass, right? But Shane, the fact that Shane's shirts, when you get them, have like legitimate store tags with his logo and shit on them, blows my mind. That's next level.
Yeah, you know? He doesn't fuck around, man. I mean, that guy is a machine. When they were campaigning for the 15 Minutes of Lame contest, that dude was putting out a video like every fucking day, you know, and they were funny and they were engaging, and you know, Shane's going to be one of those top guys, you know, give him a year or two, you know, without a doubt.
We're definitely going to have Shane on, because after I listened to the full episode that he did with you, I have some more questions for him. And I like, you know, especially people that are willing to talk about their life, their path, their process, whatever. I like digging on that.
Right.
You know, and Shane's obviously got a history that I think would be really intriguing to dig on and know, you know, because it obviously, right, wrong, or otherwise, whatever you've done up until today made you the guy you are, the girl you are, the asshole you are, whatever, right?
Right.
You know, and Shane is obviously, as a family man and as a businessman, and is, you know, one of the hardest working dudes I known. There's a story there, and I definitely want to dig on that.
Not only that, he has like 17 fucking kids, so he's fucking bald, you know.
Yeah, like you say, he's part of the problem.
Yeah, he's way part of the problem. Yeah.
So what? Speaking of history and that, so what took you originally California bound? You're into music initially, right?
Yeah. I got divorced. I was married for 10 months. Okay.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's
no. grand opening, grand closing, right?
all in the same year.
Yeah. I actually think it overlapped a year, but she was originally from California, right?
Okay.
And I met her on AOL because on paper, I look fucking amazing. In real life, I'm not so much, you know. So
you said it, not me.
yeah, so she moved to New York, and then when we were getting divorced, I wanted to just move as far away as I could from New York without physically leaving the country, right? So it was either California or Florida, and I chose California. And since she was from California, we said, all right, we'll just sign the divorce papers in California, right? So we went to California. I got my own place. She got her own place. We went to get divorced, and we found out that in order to get divorced in California, you have to have a year residency requirement. So we were actually getting divorced longer than we were married.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So that's that. So I went to California, and I met another girl, and we started a company helping people in foreclosure. So basically, we would get the mortgage companies to rewrite the loan. So let's say you were 6 months behind on a 30-year mortgage. We would have attorneys go in, and they would rewrite the loan and make it a 30-year and 6-month mortgage. Okay. So, but it was only for people with hardships that have gotten back on their feet, you know. So that started, doing really well. And then I started playing music again because I played music in New York for years in my late teens and, early 20s. And we just happened to get lucky, and we happened to, get some big shows. And we ended up, getting a small deal that was decent money. So that's where like the hassle of money comes in, because we were making band money and business money.
Okay.
So that's when it started, going well, and it went well for a couple of years, and then when it went bad, we lost everything all at once. Okay, so we couldn't do the business anymore because there were new rules for mortgages, and then the band got dropped, and after that, obviously when you're with somebody, it's real easy when you're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, of course.
Like you don't fight about anything, but when you're not making a shit ton of money anymore, that's when the fighting starts. So we ended up breaking up, and I ended up moving to Hollywood and doing club promotion for about 2 years. I partnered with a guy who ran a promotion called Club Vodka. We ran a big convention on the Sunset Strip, and I had my name on a billboard right on Sunset. So those were fun times. But then I got tired of whenever you're talking to somebody, they're talking back to you looking for the more important person in the room. And so I just said, and by that time I had never met my niece yet. Okay, because I was always working or on tour. And she was 6, I think. And I was just like, all right, if I'm going to start over again, I may as well be around family. So I came back to New York, and when she was 6, she liked it. She's 16 now, and she doesn't give a fuck whether I'm around or not. Like she used to run downstairs and hug me. And now I show up and I get a text from her room that says, "Hey, what's up? I'll call you later." So
solid.
Yeah, so fuck these kids, man. Fucking kids.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So that was late 90s, early 2000s era. Then when you were,
I moved out there in 2000.
Okay, so would you classify yourself, I guess, in that kind of punk grunge era? And is that what you guys did? Or
here's the problem. I'm a fat hair metal guy. Okay. So I don't like, I don't like anything after 1993 or 94. So the band did relatively well, but I wasn't in LA or Hollywood when people were, fucking each other on the corner in the street. I was in LA when the guys that I liked were 60 years old and they were still trying to fuck on the corners of the street. Okay, so I wasn't there during the heyday, but it was still a lot of fun.
So, and I guess from there, is that where you got hooked up with the guys from Fuzz Huzzy and that kind of thing as well?
Well, when we were coming up in San Diego, because originally I was in San Diego, we had met the Fuzz Huzzy guys playing out in the clubs,
Okay.
And then eventually what happened was, we went up to Hollywood, we did our thing. And then when we started doing all the club promotion stuff, Fuzz Huzzy would come up from San Diego to Hollywood, and they would be like the roadies for the club promotion. And that's where Alan and I became close, and basically they would this Club Vodka thing, they would have like 35 bands play in one night. Okay, so there'd be 3 different stages, and there'd be 30 bands. Fuzz Huzzy would always play like the middle room, and they would roadie, on the side. So basically, they'd come up, they'd do the show, then they'd help us roadie, and do all the equipment. So that's really where me and the band became close.
Yeah, I like their stuff, and then I was introduced to them through your show, obviously, and I've got some of their stuff on Spotify, and that I really like that feel, you know what I mean, that vibe. So
yeah, they're a good band. They were always a good band. Like we would have to, when we were playing with them, we would have to up our game, just because they were so good.
Yeah, definitely. Huh. So, and then from there, you said you went back to New York, and did you know Donato and I can't think of the other guy's name? Danny, thank you. Did you know those guys ahead of time, or did that come later?
I knew Donato since pre-K.
Oh wow, okay.
So me and Donato go way back. And growing up, Donato always had snakes, and I never really had them. But Donato is a pharmacist, and he introduced me to Danny.
Okay.
And me and Danny got along right away, and that's when the 3 of us decided to start doing eyeballs.
And so, from what I've listened or heard in your show, in that was Danny the money behind that project? Was that kind of the way that worked?
100%. Yeah. I mean, Danny was uber successful, and basically, Donato put in a little bit of money. I was only really the one that didn't put in any money, because my job, I basically have 300 fucking snakes in my house.
Yeah.
And I live in a fucking condo in fucking Westchester, New York, And Danny would always joke around. He's like, I'm not going to be happy until you're living out on your balcony. I'm going to fill your whole house with snakes. And that's when we just said, we have to get a place, because what happened was somebody saw me get a rat delivery, right? So
yeah.
So they were like, Chris is bringing rats into the building, and he can't be doing that. And I actually got raided. So what happened was, I didn't think they would raid me with so many people, but I thought it was only going to be like 2 people that was knocking at my door. But when I opened up the door, there was like 4 cops, 3 firemen, guys from building inspections of Westchester, the Humane Society, like 30 people, right? So I took them into the bedroom where the snakes were, and back then we were using that barcode system, Reptiscan.
Yeah.
And they were so amazed at how neat everything was they were like, this sucks. We can't, obviously the complaint that you were keeping a bunch of animals in shit conditions was wrong. And they said, but look, you're not allowed to have more than like 5 reptiles, non-venomous reptiles, in an apartment dwelling in Westchester. And we already saw all this. And so they got me for having like 300 snakes. And then they got me for running a business out of the house. And so basically I had to go pay a bunch of fines, and then we had to find a place, officially. So that's when we went to the shop.
That reminds me, why can't I remember the name of the company? I don't think it was in New York, but there's this company, and I'm sure it's a fairly well-known name or whatever, but their shop, I guess, has been raided numerous times. And just the past couple of years ago, I saw it on the news again that they were up in that guy's business because he's got horrible conditions. And
that was fucking Kick.
Kickballs. There we go. That's the one. Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
That's all I can think of, because I remember seeing that helicopter shop of everybody just freaking storming the building.
Yeah, they were up in Buffalo. And
there you
Buffalo
go. Yeah,
is like 8 hours from me.
Okay.
And, yeah, they were they're a little weird, man. Fucking, I'm not gonna say I didn't like them because they were always like cordial, but you could tell they were a little fucking weird, man. It's just like, when you meet somebody and you're like, I don't know, this guy might kill me. That was the vibe I got from them.
Apparently Fred Kick goes to his local show. Herbert's not. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anybody in New York is local to you. I've never been there, so I don't know how big the state is. But Herbert is relatively local in your neck of the woods too. So
where's Herbert?
He's in New York somewhere. So it's New York as far as I'm concerned. It's all the same place. So, Ron thought we were talking about Ben Siegel. That's a whole different story.
Ben Siegel fucking hit somebody with
a bearded dragon. Justin actually told me that story the first time I visited him, because he is asking, because I was way early on with us when we had just a handful of animals. He's asking what I had and what I told him. I got this and that, and I got a black pastel and a spot nose. I picked those up on the Ben Siegel auction. He's like, oh, do you know the story behind Ben? He's like, so I got, on our 2-hour drive, I got a whole history on that one. That was
that was the funniest thing I ever heard. I feel bad for the fucking bearded dragon, but it is funny to think about a dude grabbing a bearded dragon by the tail and just smacking somebody else.
What a bizarre weapon to decide to use.
Yeah, but that dude was kind of fucked up, like mentally in the head too.
Yeah,
like he was I don't know if he was on drugs or he was doing some kind of depression. So I know he was fucked up, but it's still it was fucking funny. And then somebody died eating a roach.
Oh, really?
In one of his little contests, like he would have these contests where eat a dubia roach or something like that, and one dude choked and died. It
was like that. It was like that radio station that killed that lady in the water drinking contest.
Yeah. So he ran into a lot of shit for that too.
Do you know if, because I've been told that Amir or something like that runs his operation now because he's in jail or whatever. Do you know if that operation is legit still and any good? Like,
I have no idea. Amir was Yellow Belly Balls, right?
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. No, I never even met Amir.
Okay.
So I don't know. See, the thing is that I don't want to. This is fucking stupid. We bought from some low-end people originally with iBalls, right? But then we learned our lesson real quick, and then we only bought from like the Aussies and Justins and the guys like that. And so anybody not Aussie, Justin, or who else did we buy from? I don't remember, but only the big shots we were buying from. So these mid-level guys and smaller guys, we didn't really know,
So I'm going to ask you the same question that you ask everybody that's on your show, it seems like.
Okay.
What kind of money did you put down to start iBalls? What did it cost to get that whole operation going? And then how long did it take you guys before you actually started making money?
200
Okay.
to 220. Never made it back.
We're still trying.
Never made any of it back. Right. We made some back. You know, we had some big sales, especially with Stranger stuff when it was early in the game, and then we had some big sales with like Orange Dream stuff. But the problem was that in New York, you end up paying like $5 or $6 grand a month to get, for a shop and for to maintain electric and all that. And some months you didn't make $5 or $6 grand, and it had to come out of your pocket. Now, fucking, for the other guys it was easy, but for me, like I'm not making 30, 40, 50, 60 grand a month, at my regular job. So it was rough. And then after I had the stroke, I was just like, look, I don't want to do this anymore. This is a pain in the ass, man.
So what? So you have a quote unquote real job. What do you do?
I'm a creative director for an animal pharmaceutical company. So basically, like if your dog has cancer, and the dog won't take a pill or whatever, we compound the drugs and we make it into like we make it taste like watermelon or beef or fish. And then if they don't take a pill, we make it into like those little Listerine tabs.
Yeah.
That you put in your mouth. We'll make it into that. So basically, it's a compounding pharmacy.
Interesting. That's bizarre to say the least.
I do anything visual for the company. So I do the website, I do the advertising, I do the the commercials, I do the trade show stuff. So that's the job now.
Huh. Okay. And then and you said Donato's he's a pharmacist.
He's
correct?
a human pharmacist. Yeah.
He's a drug dealer. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Fucking he gets it out there. But he's been a pharmacist for I want to say 20 years now. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's wild. So are all the rumors true? Are you trying to flee New York and move south?
Yeah, I hate it here. I mean, this is the worst place in the world.
Sounds like everybody else does too.
Yeah, this is just the worst place in the fucking world. It's fucking. We have maybe 9 good days a year here. Okay, so the rest of the days it's either too cold or too hot, and this place is too fucking liberal for me.
Yeah,
that's
my problem.
So the plan eventually in the next couple of years is to go down to Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like you really kind of fell in love with those guys and that whole vibe and everything down there when you went to Arlington.
I did the Arlington show and fucking people just got it.
Yeah.
They like you can make fun of them and joke on them, but they know that you're just the obnoxious New York shtick guy, and they laugh at things and fucking, I don't know. I just fell in love with being down in Texas, and I've been through Texas before with the band, and then when I was younger. But the time I went to Arlington really solidified me saying, all right, I'm going to come down here. Plus, you could get like a fucking house on 3 acres for like 200 grand.
Exactly.
And, here I could get a 1-bedroom house with no land for about $750.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, Dallas is on our short list as well. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with my job in particular, but we're looking at probably either the DFW area or Kansas City. Kind of right there in the middle of the country area.
Right.
And same reason, man. It's like it's a different lifestyle, different pace. I want to have some property because if this is going to be a thing, I'd like to actually have a dedicated structure specifically self-contained for this. And that kind of thing. And so that's definitely our move in the next handful of years as well. So,
yeah, I lived in Colorado for 1.5 years and I had a ranch there, and our nearest neighbor was, probably 5,000 yards away.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hate people. I don't want space for like animals or anything like that. I want space just to be away from fucking people. And I want to be in a house where if somebody is murdering me, my neighbors can't hear me scream. Okay, so that would be the perfect place for me to be.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah, this is New York is horrible.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm a lot alike that. I've told my wife a number of times, like my next place, I want to have enough property and some trees in that to the point where I can't see my neighbors. That's my goal.
Yep.
You know, and
yeah, I think Sean actually put up like bamboo.
Yeah.
Block his neighbors. So he has like a little compound, like a bamboo compound.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get down to his place too. This whole fucking COVID thing has ruined everything for everybody. It's really annoying because I used to travel a couple times a year. I'd go to, you know, with my job, I can travel a few times, and I'd go to places to go visit people's collections or go to shows or whatever. And Sean was on my short list, and then fucking world came unglued. Like,
yeah. I mean, I was supposed to go to Conroe this weekend.
Yeah.
And I had to cancel it because my doctor was like, I'd rather you have the vaccine first. Right?
Yeah.
But then also, and I would have went, but New York restrictions are saying now you have to get tested 3 days before you go. You have to get tested while you're in the state that whatever you're visiting. Then you have to get tested within 3 days of you getting back. And I'm like, that's just a pain in the ass for a 4-day weekend. You know, I can't, just not with it. So I moved it over to June, and I'll be at the June Conroe show now.
Dude, I'm the same way. I'm so glad that we left California when we did, because it's no different there, man. It's just as screwed up, you know.
Oh, California is fucked. But California is clean, at least.
Yeah, to a point.
Well, the thing is, it's like, it's style without substance. Like I remember going to Hollywood for the first time with my girlfriend, and a friend of ours was an opera singer, and he was playing the Kodak Theater, where on Hollywood Boulevard, where they would film American Idol.
Yep.
And so I'm in there, and I'm all moody and I'm all pissed off, right? And my girlfriend's like, "Why the fuck are you so moody?" And I'm like, I can't believe we're here listening to this jerk off sing when I could be outside taking my picture with a stormtrooper and Spider-Man, right? So, and then, you know, the next day you see Spider-Man in the stormtrooper in the daylight, and Spider-Man's suit is all ripped. He has BO, you know, it's just like the worst. But but overall, California is so much prettier than New York, and the West Coast beaches are so much better and nicer looking than the East Coast beaches.
Yeah, and I'm originally from Northern California. I'm closer to Tahoe, and so I can't stand LA. I cannot stand SoCal. I love San Diego. It's a great city. A bunch of us from NorCal claim that's Oregon border to just south of San Francisco and San Diego. Like San Diego is Northern California,
right? And
then SoCal can have all the crap in the middle and all of the stuff like where Shane lives in the Central Valley and all that crap, and where the meth was created. And I fucking hate that part of the state, man. And I cannot stand LA and LA people in general. It's just not my scene, you know. I would much rather, and you've experienced both, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would much rather live amongst New Yorkers who are just as much assholes, but they'll be that right to your face and tell you what they actually think, than live amongst the LA elite that'll be all wine and dine and think you're the greatest thing on the planet until you turn around and then they shit talk you and screw you to everybody else.
Nah, I hate both of them. Okay, fucking, I hate the New York assholes. I hate the California assholes. I remember, and believe me, I know that at this point now I sound distinctly New York. Okay, I know that when you talk to me, but I lost it in California. Like I lost the accent in California, and I remember watching like a news report with my girlfriend, and they had some Con Ed worker from New York talking about, hey, now we're gonna move the pole over here and we're gonna do this over there. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, do I sound like that? And my girlfriend was like, yeah, you did. She goes, but you kind of lost it now. But every time one of your dumbass friends from New York calls, you get it back for a couple of days. And now it's just back for good, and I fucking hate it. Is there nothing less sexy than like a chick with a New York accent?
That real just gritty fucking chewing on a cigarette sound.
Right, like Pinky Tuscadero. Well, I'm going to get some coffee. Like, oh, shut the fuck up. I fucking hate you.
Dude, it was the same way when I moved to North Dakota for school. Mm-hmm. And I came right out of California to North Dakota, and it was like, dude, that was like going back in time. And right. I show up and it's all like this, hell of that, the whole 9 yards. And they're like, who the hell are you? And what is this language you're speaking? Like,
right.
It was insane. So that means when you get down to Texas, you're gonna put your cowboy hat on and get your hick ass Southern accent.
Oh, right? Fuck yeah! I already got the cowboy hat picked up. And like I said, I lived in Colorado, so I knew. I know real cowboys. Like Josh Lumberg is a cowboy.
No doubt, yeah.
Like fucking. My girlfriend's mother at the time owned a 100,000-acre ranch in Dinosaur, Colorado. So getting to go, I spent a lot of time there, and getting to go there was pretty cool. But I didn't appreciate it at the time, Yeah. And because fucking you'd go to Staples and you'd be like, yeah, I need some ink. And they're like, we don't have any ink. And you're like, what do you mean you don't have ink? And they're like, well, we have to wait for the truck to come over the hill to do the delivery. And the hill is the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, so it could be 2 weeks until you get ink, So, I don't want to be that rural again, but I want to be, somewhere away from people.
Dude, Dinosaur is a sick part of the country, though. There's like this really super uber high-end bed and breakfast kind of resort place there that's buried in the mountains that comes with its own helicopter. Yeah. Like it's insane, dude. That area is awesome.
It's nuts. I remember we in order to get to Grand Junction, you have to take a little plane, right? Like So basically you fly into like Denver or Salt Lake City, and you're landing Salt Lake City, and then you get on this little plane with fucking propellers on it, man. Yep. Well, like fucking they haven't made a plane with propellers on it since the 70s, right? So I get on the plane, and I'm looking at the other people, and I'm like, all right, I'm 250 pounds, so I'm going to sit on the left side because there's two skinny people on the right side because I want to balance out the plane, right? And then you think, all right, there got to be at least 3 parachutes on the plane, right? Because there's 2 pilots and a stewardess, right? So I was like, I could definitely take the stewardess, if I had to. And we would land in Grand Junction, and my girlfriend was waiting for me, like just on the tarmac. Like she just drove our truck onto the tarmac, and she was waiting for me, like right outside the plane. And I was like, this can't be safe, right? So she goes, I scheduled us to fly over the ranch to see it from above, And she goes, but we got to go to the little plane. And I just looked at the plane that I just got off of, and I was like Tom Hanks and Splash. I was like, the little plane, So we get into the fucking, we drive up to this thing, and it's a plane with 1 propeller on it, right? And and you got to wear the earphones and shit, right? Yep. And I go to put my seatbelt on. It's me and my girlfriend in the back, and her mother and the pilot in the front. And I go to put my seatbelt on, and the seatbelt's not going across, right? And I'm like, the seatbelt doesn't fit. And he goes, just grab onto the bar. He goes, if anything happens, the seatbelt ain't going to help you anyway, right? So we're fucking flying. And as soon as we left the ground, I'm pretty sure I shit myself, right? Like we're 3 inches off the ground. I'm pretty sure I shit myself. And we're flying over the ranch. And the mother says, on the ranch, there's a dirt road that's long enough for you to land the plane on if you want to just drop us off there. And I was like, what are we doing? A Colombian drug deal? Are we in like fucking Guatemala? I'm like, if you fucking land on that ranch, yeah, I'm not going to sign your check. So we basically had to fly all the way back to the airport to drive the 3 hours back, even though we could have just landed on the ranch. But fuck that. I'm from the Bronx, man. You're not going to land a fucking one propeller plane in the middle of nowhere with me.
It's funny to me because I'm a third generation pilot. I grew up in a household that owned airplanes and whatnot. So it's not weird to me at all, but it is funny when I hear people say that. And like Ron said, it's like that series Wings. The funny thing about Wings, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, is, it's those little airplanes, and that show is based out of the Cape.
Right.
And that show is actually based on a real company called Cape Air that's based in the Cape. And we have a Cape Air detachment here at my airport. There's about 6 or 8 airplanes that are based here, and they fly every day in those little tiny twin engine Cessnas and that, taking people out to we used to take them to the pipeline, but obviously that's not a thing anymore. And, and stuff like that. But it just cracks me up when I see people in there. You hear people that are like scared to fly on airplanes at all. And then I look down out of the tower and there's little fucking people packing their backpacks into their freaking Cessna and they're going up to the High Line and shit. It's like
crazy, man.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Dude, speaking of Herps, of the Herp show, and Sean, we were, yeah. What you said you were going to be at Conroe, right?
I said that like an hour ago. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying, going back to that, we are actually going to be at our first Herp show here in a couple months. So we're making the trek down to KC for the Herps KC show.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
In March. Yeah, we've got family. My sister-in-law and my nephew and that they live in right there in Kansas City area. And so we're going down to see family, and it just so happens to be that weekend that we're going to be there is Herps KC. Also happens to be my wife's birthday, but whatever. We're going to a reptile show. Yeah. And I've already hooked up with Josh Lundberg and that, and we're going to hang out with him at his table and check out the Herp show. So that'll be super rad.
Yeah. From what I understand, Sean just fucking kills it, man.
Yeah. Well, and we haven't been to a show in almost 2 years. So it's like, it's dark because all of our the 2 shows a year that we get up here are, non-existent. Right. And the next best thing for us is Denver. And that's an 8-hour drive. I mean, you're talking about a $1,500 weekend just to go. It's like not worth it. And now I've got a 5-month-old, so that's a whole separate issue.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, you just couldn't wait, huh?
So you're telling me no kids in your future, huh?
No kids. Period. I got a niece and nephew. That's it. By the way, it's my nephew's birthday today. His name is Noah. He's 21. I told him I'd give him a shout out, even though he's not even here listening.
There you go. You going out to buy him his first drink?
No, I don't do shit like that. Fucking, I don't really spend time with the family. Like even on Christmas and holidays, I'll go there for 45 minutes. I'll eat and then I'll come back home where it's nice and quiet. Because my family is Italian and Puerto Rican, so they're fucking loud, So yeah, you just can't get a minute's fucking peace there. So.
Your girl Brittany stopped by. I'm gonna have to have her on too because obviously she's moving up in the game rapidly and she's got a whole freaking farm of shit. So we got to talk to her about what she's doing.
Brittany is awesome. I talk to Brittany probably a couple of times a week, either on the phone or online. But Brittany's gonna be one of the top people in the next year or two.
Yeah.
So and you just know it because fucking. She's constantly working,
Yeah.
And she's like, she speaks like 81 languages. She's like the fucking chick from Alias, like she does all this shit and fucking, I think that she's really going to be one of the top people.
I was gonna say, I saw a thing on one of her social media accounts, whatever, months back. And I was like, and she just posted a picture of like her notebook where she was writing or some shit. And it's like, just, it's kind of a slow go, but I'm learning Farsi or whatever the fuck she said. I'm like, you're doing a what now and why? Yeah. Like, you're a grown ass adult. We're done learning at this point.
Yeah. She wants to talk to the terrorist. It's like
exactly.
the fucking CIA,
So it's just, man, no way. Like my wife and I were talking about trying to, maybe start with like Babel or fucking Rosetta Stone or something, and start teaching our daughter as she learns to speak. Start teaching her a second language along the way, Spanish or something like that, because realistically, we're gonna need it, in this country anyway. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm 30 and I failed Spanish and French in high school. I'm not about to go back and try again. Like,
yeah, seriously. Yeah, Brittany speaks like 30 languages, and I'm on my 5th attempt of Rosetta Stone Spanish.
Exactly.
It's unreal how she fucking. That chick is so fucking smart, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some people they're just wired that way, where they just pick that kind of stuff up naturally, and I'm not one of them.
And hot, like fucking fuck, man. Like Brittany is fucking hot and smart.
Yeah, just and a fiery redhead or whatever color of the week she decides to.
That's
give
right.
us.
Fucking that dude hit the jackpot when he fucking insane. So
I guess we gotta get to the snakes eventually. You know what I mean? And
why?
I don't know. What the fuck? I don't know.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, what else you got? I mean, I can see some of the stuff in your background. Are you admittedly just a huge fucking nerd and into all kinds of, I don't know, fucking Gundam and anime and shit? Like, what do you do aside from work?
I basically just do the podcast and do the video stuff. But I am a nerd. When I was in the hospital for 2 months last year, from the end of December to February, and I was so depressed in the hospital that I was just like, I'm gonna start buying toys from when I was a kid, just to have around the house, so that whenever I go into a certain room, if I'm depressed, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my G.I. Joe from 1983, and that's my whatever from, right? So I'm in the hospital and I'm on eBay, and I ended up spending like close to $4,000, right?
Oh my God.
So my father would come visit me at the hospital, and he'd be like, hey, there's 8 packages waiting for you at your apartment. Then you come back the next day and he's like, there's 31 packages waiting for you at your apartment. And then there's 40 packages waiting for you. So when I finally got home, I was like, Dad, hand me one of those things, because he was making sure that I was okay at the house. And I said, hand me one of those boxes. And I opened it up, and it was like a G.I. Joe figure from 1985. And I turned and looked at my father, and the look of disappointment on his face was like, I could feel it in my soul, where he's like, my fucking 46-year-old kid. like, are there toys in all of these boxes? I'm like, yes, right. So then I had to buy glass cabinets and all that other shit to put them in. But overall, I am a geek and a Marvel nerd and a Star Wars nerd, and
I was gonna say you kind of strike me as like the comic book shop kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like hanging out while the kids are playing fucking Magic and
no, that's gay. I don't do that.
No, I didn't say you played Magic. Like you could be like Will Wheaton in The Big Bang Theory. Like you're like king shit of the comic book nerds. Like
yeah, please. What did Sean Bradley's episode was that? King shit at Turd Mountain or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I just buy what I like, and then it's cool. It really doesn't help with the like the first time a chick will come over, it's set up so nice where if you're just casually looking around, you don't know that there's toys in these glass cabinets, right?
Yeah.
So, but then when they find out that there's toys in these cabinets, they're like, dude, what are you, fucking 6? Get the fuck out of here.
When's the cab gonna be here?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I'm at that age where I just don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Like,
I gotta say, the way, and obviously we just have like a small sneak peek, but the way you've got that wall set up and the displays now, like that looks dope. I like that. I'm into that. I'm into that like reclaimed look anyway. So like the metal cabinet and the wood wall, and that's sweet.
Well, I got a big Snakes and the Fat Man logo sign being printed on the planks.
Oh yeah.
Coming next week. So
cool.
I have that right up in the corner there, and I just didn't want to have like a shitty background, because you know what I say about these fucking YouTube people in their filthy fucking living rooms. You know, like fucking no. At least you're in your snake room, man. Fucking, there's dudes on the couch, you know, fucking with stains on the couch, and fucking it's just like, clean up your shit before you go live. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Well, like I was telling you earlier, it's kind of I like this backdrop because it's unique. You know, I mean, this is the only one in the country because I built it, and you know, and it's got the 3D backgrounds from Universal Rock and all that stuff in it. But moving forward with the collection and the operation, that it doesn't make sense because that operation is bigger than a standard Freedom Breeder or ARS rack, and it doesn't make, you know, it's impractical. So unfortunately, in a few weeks from now, moving forward, all of my videos are going to be backdrop just like everyone else's. It's going to be a freaking commercial rack with my tags on it. Like, you know, we all look the same. I mean, at least in the case of like Shane, he's got that brick wall, that faux brick wall or whatever, that you can kind of get a little bit of contrast with. But everyone else,
why I did this wall and everything, because of Shane, because fucking Shane makes people raise their game. You know, I mean, fucking everything Shane does is, you know, between his edits and all that, you know, he's, you know, you got to figure, if you're going to get into the YouTube space, right? Why are you going to do it if you can't do it as well as Shane or Cusco or, you know, one of these other top guys? Because why would you know, order filet mignon and then your version of that would be like hamburger? You know, like if filet mignon's available, hamburger's just not going to cut it.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
So that's why, you know, I'm dumping a bunch of money into this space, and you know, making it work and getting better cameras and all that, and make an investment in yourself, you know, and fucking, you know, just try and, you know, fly it up the flagpole and see who salutes it, you know.
Well, like I mentioned a while back on another episode, you know, I've watched Brian Cusco in person when he's filming in that, when I was down at his place and went to Freedom Breeder and whatnot. And my issue is my brain does not work like that. I don't understand how to live the moment through the camera. You know what I mean? Like, if I come and visit you and we're looking at your toys or your snakes or whatever, my brain doesn't say, oh, wait, I need this for the channel. We're going to set up this. I'm going to live through the camera. We're going to do these shots. It's going to be all cinematic and gorgeous. I just don't, it doesn't work that way. So for me, the videos almost become like an afterthought. I'm like, oh shit, I need something for the channel. I need to get this up, you know? And to be fair, that's kind of become my channel's brand, so to speak, or style, is very raw, unedited, off the cuff, one take, you know, down and dirty. It's not pretty. It's not, you know, highly produced in that. But I look at the way Brian does it. I'm like, you know, there's no way we can keep up with the way somebody like that has dedicated their existence. You know,
Brian is doing it full time.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Yeah,
you know, you got an 8 to 10 hour job that you work every day. You know, like I do. You can't do it, you know, full time, and it's you know, it's rough. You know, doing even, I'm sure you even doing one live a week is fucking rough, especially, you know, with a kid and a fucking full-time job and taking care of all your shit, and you know, so it is rough. That's why you know, I just laugh at these people with the fucking they'll just do you know, a YouTube live, you know, on their phone or whatever, and it's just like, you know, no setup, no preparation really, and just I don't know, I got a little bit of disdain for a lot of the live people, except my friends doing the lives. They do it awesome. All right.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, fuck them.
Yeah. I hate all those people except the ones I like.
Yeah. And remember to watch Snakes and the Fat Man live coming in 2 or 3 weeks.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, like I said, all of your stuff will be in the description as always, but you know, obviously we're doing something right because we do get repeat customers, so to speak. People are agreeing to come on, and you know.
Here's the problem with that, though, and not necessarily with your channel, but it seems like these people that are giving 2 and 3 hours to these to other people, like there's basically a host and a guest that I've never heard of before that are going on for 3 hours. The problem is that they're doing it for the same 75 people. So like if you go to another crappy host and crappy guest, those same 75 people are there doing it. Now it's cool that it's showing support, you know, but it's like, you have to do more. Like I really don't want to hear from you if you've only been doing this for 6 months, because I don't care. You haven't seen what we've seen, you know?
Yeah.
And, if you haven't produced an animal, I definitely don't want to hear from you, you know?
Well, when I first got started, there were plenty of people in the hobby that told me that you can't call yourself a breeder until you produce a female, raise her up, and get eggs from her.
Right.
I'm 3.5 years into this, and I'm still not there. But I did produce 19 clutches last year and 8 the year prior. So I mean, I obviously can breed them. I just don't have the females that I've held back up to size yet. You know.
Well, also that's kind of like a bunch of shit too, right? Because I remember. There were people when we first started saying, you know, you're doing it all wrong and you can't do it. But there were people that were like, no, you can do this. And, you know, like Will Banks was a big advocate, you know, for us when we first started. And Will Banks once said, you guys have the best logo in the whole, you know, at Tinley, you know. So fucking he was a big promoter of us. And I like guys like Will Banks, even though you know they're one of those. He's one of those like manufacturing facilities, really. Because
dude, his operation's insane.
Yeah, another company like that is Dynasty down in Florida. You know, where they have like 5 buildings worth of shit. But the thing is that to see the difference between what they do and they'll put out videos and then seeing somebody who's doing this for 6 months and then putting out videos talking about shit that they're going to do. Like that's the worst thing, you know, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna buy a leopard freeway clown. And you're like, dude, you can't afford a fucking microphone. All right, you're not gonna buy a fucking leopard freeway clown. Like, how stupid do you think we are? You know. Also, I think that a lot of these new people don't realize how long 2 years is waiting for a female to grow up. Okay, because they will buy the babies, and you know they'll start putting videos out. You know, a couple of months later, but that baby's not going to be ready for 2 to 3 years, and by the time that rolls around, the snake's going to be worth a quarter of what you paid for it, and they're going to get frustrated and they're going to be out of the hobby anyway.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up with the cough? You got the COVID?
No, dude, fucking I don't know what kind of stuffy nose. So like running all it's fucking 75 degrees in here and 60% humidity, so it's just running like a freaking faucet, you know. I gotta know though. I'm gonna put you on the spot because, like I said, I have listened to every episode you have put out, and I'll go back say a year or so ago when you were still a little bit more rough on the new kids and that in your podcast, and you said a number of times, we don't, something along the lines of, we don't give a shit about you posting the same picture of the same 6 snakes you have, and you've got this yellow belly 50% possible het clown. I really hope it proves. I'm really excited about this. You know, nobody gives a fuck kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been talking about me?
No.
Because I have posted that exact picture.
Oh, no. And if I did, I don't remember. But I don't think, like for a loud, obnoxious New Yorker, I'm very non-confrontational. So I probably wouldn't, you know, say, you know, like call you right out specifically. But, you know, who I will call out specifically was that motherfucker that got me, put me in was racist. Jesus Christ, I forgot the guy's name, but him I called right out on the show. Oh, Timothy.
I remember that.
Yeah, fucking douche. Because I called Harry Wang Asian. He is Asian.
Literally.
So I'll call out dudes like that. I don't think so. I don't think I was talking about you.
I don't mean like calling me out by name specifically, but there was a number of episodes a few years back that I would listen to him like, fuck, he's talking about me. Like I literally just posted that animal's right there. I literally just posted that picture of my yellow-bellied potshead clown. I hope she proves. Like
you know, you sound like right now. You sound like a Facebook woman. You know, like whenever you post something on Facebook and you're like, oh, I hate motherfuckers that do this. And they're like, oh, I know he's talking about me. Fuck him. You know?
No. Hey, Brittany's got your number, man. It's not just me. See?
What? No.
You're getting soft in your old age, man. I'm telling you.
I might be getting soft, but really, I only traded stickers with Brittany because she's hot. If Brittany was hideous, I would not have done it. I'll just be honest.
Fair enough. Like, yeah. I mean, you've had. I feel like that's kind of almost a prerequisite for either being on your show or getting any time past the buzzer in 15 minutes of lame. Is if you've got pictures of your hot spouse or girlfriend or whatever on your page as well, because you bring on Brittany and Marita and Corey and whoever else, and I was like, okay, I see, and you had Jeremy Bott on for the 15 minutes lame, like, oh, we'll give you an extra 3 minutes because I see your pictures of your wife in there too. Like,
yeah. Well, here's where that came from. When we first, like, one of the first 50 animals that we sold with iBalls, like 2 weeks later, I got a bunch of photos of this guy's wife, like on the bed, just hanging the snakes like over her nipples and in between her legs and all that, right? So I'm like, oh, this could be a teachable moment, Yeah. And so basically that's it. And I actually, when I was at Arlington, I had Erin Nicole helping me sell shirts, and I mentioned on the podcast, I said I want to thank the lovely Erin Nicole for helping me, sell shirts while I do the podcast. My girlfriend at the time heard that and broke up with me, okay? Because I called her lovely. And the reason that I called her lovely was because I thought that was the least offensive word, that I could use.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was like, Erin's fucking hot. You don't have a chance with her. Fucking, move on. So yeah, like obviously, I'm not that much of a dick in real life. Like fucking, I'm not gonna, say, oh, you're hideous, don't talk to me. But on the show, it's like fucking, it's Chris amped up a little bit.
Yeah, and you're just a simple man. I mean, you know what you like. I can't fault you for that. Like,
yeah. If you got big yams, you get 10.
Exactly right.
That's the way it goes.
So, we've got Mike Janikowski in here, who is arguably the most opinionated person that I know. So if you have anything you would like to address as far as the politics of the country currently, or COVID or whatever, I'm sure Mike would be happy to listen to both sides of this discussion.
Okay. I'm
being sarcastic, because if you ever watch Mike on Facebook, he's pretty obvious where he stands on everything going on.
Yeah, I just I have no idea.
I can't imagine. Like I said, I'm so glad I got out of California when I did, because we have been relatively unaffected by COVID up here as far as I'm concerned. Right. The mask thing has been a minor inconvenience at best. There hasn't been a massive lockdown. It didn't do much it didn't affect our careers or our livelihoods at all, other than the fact my wife works at the hospital. Right. So she deals with them regularly. But, You know, I can't imagine living in New York and obviously in California and shit like that. It's just been, when I watch what's going on, it's like, God, how does anybody vote for those people that are making those rules? Like, I just don't understand I don't understand how your brain doesn't comprehend how stupid that sounds.
Yeah. It's, well, I've been working full time since the pandemic started. Right.
Yeah.
So, I work from home and I hate people. Right. So I've been quarantining since 2016, really. You know, like there's nothing new to me. But
isolated by design.
Yeah. To see, you know, like my favorite restaurants closing down and, you know, people losing their businesses. I mean, that's just fucking horrifying, man. And it's one of the reasons that I want to get out of here too, you know?
Yeah, that's that's the one that really pisses me off, because people don't seem to realize that people that align with that kind of decision making, I'll put it that way, don't seem to realize that the majority, literally more than 50% of all jobs in the nation are from small businesses of less than 500 people. And yet on the other side of that coin, the last statistic I saw was somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 small businesses in this country are gone and never coming back, which is a massive cut to the employment rate. And you wonder why nobody has a freaking job anymore, because not everybody works for Walmart and Apple. Like,
right. Well, the whole thing too is, I don't know how it was by you, but in New York, what they were doing was they were putting people on unemployment, right? Yeah. So a friend of mine, she was on unemployment, but she was making decent money, so she got the max unemployment, right? So
like $600 a week or something, right?
Yeah, $600 a week. Okay, but then New York State was paying her $600 extra a week, you know, because of COVID, right? So my friend was a dog walker making $5,000 a month. Okay. Yep. And I was like, I don't think I could be your friend anymore. You know, like you better fucking, you know, you better hold on to that money like grim death, because you will never make $5,000 a month again in your life. You know, so, but that's what they were doing for a while here, but they stopped it in July, I think.
But that was part of the problem is they were, the governments, you know, state and otherwise, were handing so much money to the people that it didn't incentivize anybody to ever go back and get a real job, because they could make more money sitting at home playing Xbox, eating bonbons. You know, and that part just pisses me off, because you know, my wife works at the hospital. I'm considered mission critical, so to speak, you know, and even like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, when Trump shut the government down to get the funding for his border wall, I went to work for 38 days and didn't get a paycheck. Right. You know, I don't get that choice.
Right.
And I don't have the luxury of sitting at home and making $600 or $800 a week. And so it just, the whole thing has just been a mess. And I'm not here to downplay the severity of COVID. I am far more offended at how the state and local governments and our quote unquote experts, Air Fauci, you know, Monfuhrer, are handling the existence of COVID. That's the problem.
Right.
It's just been fucking maddening, you know, but anyway.
Are you in a militia?
No. No. Dude, again, that's scary business working for the feds, believe me. I got to be careful what I comment on Facebook, man. They're watching us.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Jeez. So, hey, I got to know, because you're in that neck of the woods. Is the White Plains show really as bad as everybody makes it out to be?
When I first went to White Plains, I thought it was incredible. When I knew shit, I was like, this show is dog shit. There's some nice people vending it, okay? The problem is that people have been vending it for years and years, so you can't get in. But like iBalls was, you know, like fairly mid-level big shot, you know, for a good 10 months or a year when we got the Stranger stuff. They wouldn't let us into the White Plains show. And we did vend it twice, but we only vended it when there was a cancellation and they called us the day before.
Oh,
Because
geez.
what happened was, I'm only 25 minutes from White Plains.
Yeah.
So it's an easy show to go to. But it is a dog shit show. They call it Mite Plains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that'll fucking really tell you.
Well, that and you can buy pretty much anything there, can't you?
Well, it's not as bad as Hamburg.
Okay.
Like Hamburg, when I went to Hamburg, they were selling crocodiles and chickens, like at the reptile show. It was like a Tijuana fucking market there, like fucking, it was fucked up. But they do sell like toys and books and just bullshit, And they opened up a second section. They call it like the B room or whatever, but nobody goes into it.
Yeah.
So, but it hasn't been around for the last year and a half. That they tried to do one at just about 3 weeks ago. They tried to do one at a shut down Sears at a mall. Okay, so then they got pulled the last minute. So
that's what we need is a fucking reptile show at a mall.
At Sears.
Oh God.
In the husky section. All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where you can buy Craftsman wrenches and a mattress all at the same time.
Yeah, it's just so stupid, man.
So
yeah, I would say it is as bad as it's made out to be. Nothing against the people that been there, because I have some friends that been there that I really like, but it's definitely a cake pan, no tablecloth type of show.
Yeah. And I know your stance on a tablecloth.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Whenever we went to White Plains and we vended those 2 times, we stood out like motherfuckers because it was fucking like we put so much money into our table that it looked like Mark Mandick at a fucking Canadian show.
Yeah.
How you go to Mark Mandick's fucking table and you're like, holy fuck. And then, like, by the second time, we were like, fuck this. We don't even want to do this anymore. This is a shit show. So it is what it is. But, it's crowded all the time. It always it's always packed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If everything goes as planned, I'm actually hoping to have Mark on here at some point in the not so distant future. So that'll be really interesting.
Mark is fucking awesome, man. He's such a nice guy. Yeah.
We had Khalil on last week to kind of get a Canadian perspective, but funny enough, we spent more time talking about, business and society and shit like that. I forgot to ask him what it's like being a ball python breeder in Canada, but but Mark is someone I definitely want to get on too. Cause I mean, shit, some of the stuff he makes is just unreal, and
yeah, Mark is fucking crazy. And Mark does the fucking dogs. The German Shepherds, and he's just such a fucking nice dude, man.
So we're kind of at that point where I typically start kind of winding down a little bit, and I want to give the people in the chat who've been going at each other all night, it seems like, I want to give them a chance to ask some questions, obviously directed at you. I mean, nobody cares what I have to say about it, but in the interim, I got a couple that I want to get your feedback on, since some of the projects that you've been a part of, or your thoughts on the hobby as a whole or whatnot. So the first and foremost is, where do you stand on all of the current controversy around the stranger, mahogany, same, not allelic, what have you?
Yeah, I don't think it's the same. I think I know Will Banks thinks it's the same. Justin doesn't think it's the same. Yeah. I land in the camp with Justin, and it's not because we spent $20,000 on the snakes. It's because I've seen enough stranger to stranger pairings where I've never seen a Suma produced from it. Yeah. Number one, and number two, I've never seen a mahogany that looked as good as a stranger. Now I've seen mahogany stacked with a couple of genes that might look close to a stranger, but I've never seen just a plain mahogany, look as good as a stranger.
Well, and I look at some of the stuff Dave Kaufman recently did a video at Jason Amos's place with a bunch of stranger stuff. And, you know, even the single, maybe 1 or 2 gene stranger combos that he had, the stuff is just insane.
Right.
You know, and what it does with the overall pattern and color and whatnot. So I don't really have a horse in the race. I have 2 mahoganies. They're both het pied. I produced a sumapide this last year. I don't have stranger. That's well outside of the realm of reality in my world, at least right now. But from what I'm seeing made, I would have to tend to agree that it's certainly not the same, but possibly allelic. That seems to be
it might be. Yeah.
That almost seems to be the new thing, the new buzzword anymore. Yeah. It's like, you know, all of a sudden fucking Enchi is allelic with the black pastel complex, and now spot nose and chocolate are allelic. And we're going to add Wookiee in that too all of a sudden. And you know, I know that comes from, you know, years of putting combos together and be like, wait a minute, this is not what we were expecting as an outcome or what have you. But as somebody that's relatively new in the hobby, that is what, 20, 30 years old at this point, the hobby itself, I was like, how are we just now figuring out that Enchi is allelic to the black pastel complex? That doesn't make any sense to me, you know?
Right.
So, and it's hard for me to understand because I don't care to know the biology of it, the actual science behind all of it. But, you know, the alleles between black pastel, cinnamon, het red, lori, that kind of thing all makes sense to me because they're all very similar. They have similar supers, the whole 9 yards. But then you throw Enchi in the mix that looks nothing like any of it, you know, doesn't have a super that's the same. And we're claiming it's now allelic. That kind of stuff is hard for me as a newcomer to wrap my head around. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Well, here's what I feel about that is that I really don't care.
Yeah.
I just have no. I have no skin in the game to really worry about stuff like that. You know, I have a few snakes here. We have maybe 30 or 40 snakes, you know, combined together that we've kept, that we're just breeding, and we're just breeding them, you know, for the fun of it. We're not, you know, of course, if there's money to be made, you know, someone wants to make money. But I don't care enough to look into the science of it.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll put together 2 snakes that say, oh, I think that this may make something cool. And that's all I care about. I really don't care about, you know, the problem is like when Justin put out the Pompeii.
Yep.
And he finally said that black pastel was, you know, part of the Pompeii.
Yep.
Overnight, black pastels went from $200 to $1,500. Okay. Yeah. So, you know,
and red stripe.
And red stripe, but red stripe I love, you know. So I'll let Justin worry about, you know, shit like that, and Ozzy worry about shit like that. I'm trying to make a fucking dick joke to make you laugh.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I really, you know, I just don't care enough about, you know, shit like that.
Yeah, and part of it for me is
no.
I was gonna say, and part of it for me is wanting to understand that and being hard-headed to be like, no, come on, man, there's no way. Like, I'm just stubborn like that. But since I don't really care to understand the science, I feel like I'm in a position where I just have to take their word for it, you know.
Right.
And you watch Justin's video and he says, look, I'm not 100% yet whether or not chocolate and Wookiee are the same, or if they appear to be allelic, and we're also now allelic with spot nose and whatever else. And, you know, I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't have any chocolate. I passed up on the Wookiee deal I was going to do. I have some spot nose. I was like, if you guys say it's going to be that way, I'll just live with it and I'll plan my breedings accordingly, you know, and not stress over it because I don't care anyway, you know.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. You know, let the people that work with these animals every day and work with a fuck of a lot more genes than I'm working with now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let them figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
But I will stand by my assertion that Wookiee is just a stupid fucking name. You know, it really is. Okay.
What about Jedi? You like that one?
Jedi's horrible too. It's so unimaginative and fucking shitty. You know, it's just the worst. But
what about okay? What about Rain?
I thought that was an awesome name. Rain was an awesome fucking name, I thought. And it's funny now because people are calling me up, telling me that they got a snake from Ralph Davis and something is weird about the offspring. So they're just going to call this Rain too. Okay.
Oh, it's funny we mentioned this because Shane just asked this question too.
Well, Danny is working on Rain Clowns right now. So that's what I know, he's doing. Danny basically took over the whole project. That was Danny's pet project the whole time. So when we were divvying up the snakes, he was like, "You want any range?" I'm like, "Nope. You take them all, right?" So Danny took them all, and there's a couple other people out in the country now that are saying that they have rings because they did similar things to what we did. But some of them did some completely new stuff, and they're just calling it Rain.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what's going on. I'm so far removed from that project, like I don't even give a shit anymore. If Danny puts out a Rain Clown, I'd be very interested to see it. But I'm not asking him every day, did the female lay? Did the female lay? Because I just don't care.
Yeah.
I could have a fucking Pompeii in there and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't even know. I don't know anything about the Rain project. I just know that it was something that you guys were working. So,
it was a snake that came from Ralph that Ralph called Amber.
Okay.
And then, but there was already an Amber out from something that Amir named. So we thought it, to avoid confusion, let's just change the name. So we changed it to Rain.
Okay. What are your thoughts between Monarch and Ultramel?
Monarch is a way cooler name. So, I hope that wins out, but I don't know enough about it really. Like they're basically caramel looking snakes, right?
Yeah, and so the thing that I'm interested in is they're all Monarch, Ultramel, Caramel. They're all T positive albinos effectively. And then you've got Toffee, Candy, Albino, Lavender that are all T negative albinos. And I wonder, because I don't know if it's ever been done. I don't know if a Monarch to Ultramel pairing has been done to see if it produces visuals or if it's just a separate strain of T positive albino, just like there's 3 or 4 different variables or strains of azanthic. You know what I mean?
But who's the head Monarch guy? Is it Tom Harbin?
Tom Harbin, yeah.
Yeah. So did he do any Monarch Ultramel crosses?
I don't know, and Tom's not somebody that I have spoken to personally, so I don't have firsthand information there. Anyway,
yeah, I've never even spoke to him.
Did you watch Shane's video last week? I have not yet, so I don't know what the story is behind this whole Calico thing.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was actually kind of cool. I know everybody's gonna be like, "Yo, why are you sucking Shane's dick, Chris?" but no, I'm not sucking his dick. It's just it's kind of cool. I think that's he can name it better, but fucking still, it's interesting. I didn't really pull a big take on it, but I did I did see the video, so I don't know.
I'll have to go back and watch it. I hadn't seen it yet, so. So there's another one in here I wanted to ask about. Shane, there is a purple rain. That's what
there is a purple rain. Yep.
GHI Mojave Banana is called.
No, actually, yeah. See, that's bullshit because we had a super phantom rain that we call the purple rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that.
And what was funny was Ken Masick. Whenever we would always compare the rain to his extreme gene, yep. Right? So he would say the rain was nothing, and we would say extreme was nothing, right? So Ken Masick, as soon as we named it the Purple Rain, he sent us, or he put up a meme that was this little black kid dressed like Prince. All right. And I still got the picture. It's so fucking funny, man. But he was making fun of us for that. But yeah, that was the Purple Rain. Yeah.
Huh. So this is interesting. This is what I'm starting to see in some of these genes. Dale's point is in regards to Monarch and Ultramel that they are close but definitely different. And I've seen that the Monarchs tend to have deeper colors, more contrast, that kind of thing. But not worth the price difference because you'll pay 2 to 3x or more for a Monarch than you will for a comparable Ultramel.
Right.
And and this is where people get into the argument with Stranger and Mahogany is, are they similar, the same otherwise, and should you pay 5x for a Stranger Het Clown than you would for a Mahogany Het Clown, or pay 3 times for a Wookiee combo that you would for a chocolate combo or whatever. And as a newcomer, that becomes very difficult and frustrating to try to navigate when you've only got a set amount of dollars to spend in a certain direction,
Right, but here's the thing: if you think that Mahogany is the same as Stranger, buy a Mahogany and work with the Mahogany and see that proves to be the same. When you call me back in a year and a half to buy a Stranger, I'll make sure it's the same price as when you wanted to buy it initially.
Yeah, right.
Previously,
Well, I was gonna say, so market wise, obviously none of this stuff is worth anything unless somebody's gonna put $100 bills on the table.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But if you have, say, a Wookiee that's 1,500, perfect example, because we got into this a couple weeks ago, the whole Trick Blitz Hurricane bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put a $2,000 Hurricane on the table. You put a $600 Blitz on the table, and you put a $500 Trick on the table, and they start bringing them all together. And the community as a whole, aside from Hans, decides that if they're not the same, they're awfully damn close, and they all interact with each other as if they were the same either way, like Black Pastel and Cinnamon do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once that happens, does that bring the price of Hurricane down, or the price of Trick and Blitz up, or does it remain spread so that you can have the Hurricane name lineage in your projects as opposed to Trick or Blitz?
I think that what would happen is everything would go up instead of down. Like the Hurricane wouldn't go down no matter what. I think that the Blitz and the Trick would go up a little bit. But
not necessarily to Hurricane levels?
Not to Hurricane level,
Okay.
Because they tried that shit with what the fuck? Acid and Confusion and
Static.
And Static. It's just not, you can't be having the same gene being named 3 different things.
Yeah.
The amount of confusion that it's going to cause, with people, especially ball python people. I don't know if you noticed this, but they're not the smartest dudes in the world. Like fucking, especially the new people. So fucking, you're not gonna get to that point if you have 3 different names. You have to maintain one. And I understand everything about protecting the integrity of a project and all that other shit, but there comes a point where, like Justin said, if Mahogany turns out to be the same as Stranger and we find that out years down the line, nobody's been hurt. Everybody's made money. Yeah. Everybody, it's just really a matter of perspective, really. Like I do know that, we had Stranger clutches and we sold every Stranger, so, it's going to be interesting to see, people claiming Mahogany. Plus, show me a Mahogany plain Mahogany that looks as good as a Stranger. I don't think you can.
Yeah, and I think there's an element of the prestige or the luxury allure that comes with something like that. I mean, for the same reason that somebody will spend $1,000 on a pair of Yeezys because they're
Right.
limited run. They've got a name behind them. They've got the clout, the whole 9 yards. And I can go spend $60 on a regular not pair of Yeezys that are, Adidas or whatever, that are just as comfortable, whatever. The stranger with that kind of value behind it, that kind of supply and demand and money that people are listing them at, almost draws its own allure because it's an upper echelon tier of animal,
Right.
And that's why, and it's like Justin's stuff. Justin can charge whatever the hell he wants because Justin's the Versace of freaking snake breeders.
Well, right. I was going to say Justin is the Gucci, whereas even the mid-level people are the Gauchis. It's just a little bit different, but like I said a million times, I can put out the exact same snake as Justin, and I would maybe get a little bit over half of what he would get for it.
Yeah.
So
what do you think? Because it's a project near and dear to us in particular, and it's something I bring up on almost every live because I'm curious to see where people are at, watching the market and the hobby in that. And I'm actually really interested because this coming Monday, Earl from Lone Star Reptiles is going to be on Billy's podcast. Mm-hmm. And he is a large portion of this specific project. So where do you stand on the scaleless?
I think it's pretty, I wouldn't be willing to breed a lot of scaleless and change around how I have to take care of my entire collection because of the needs of the scaleless. Also, whenever you ask somebody to show a female scaleless on eggs, they're like, I don't know, I got it, I did, we did it, but no, you didn't. Show me a picture of it, and then show me the hatchlings, that actually came out, and then I'd have a little bit more faith in it. But I think that animal is like just a pain in the ass to take care of. I don't think it's worth it. And we were one of probably the first 5 people that Will Banks called with the scaleless heads for $50,000 a piece, and I'm fucking so glad that we didn't even touch that.
Yeah,
because that scaleless head went from fucking $50,000 a piece to $3,000 a piece to fucking $1,200 a piece to $7,000, all within like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
do you think with all of the secrecy, the pointing of fingers, the lack of proof, so to speak, do you think that the females are going to prove to be viable, or are the heads of the projects hiding it from us so that they don't have to eat crow?
I don't know. I mean, there's really like how many people are really invested in the scaleless? Like I know Daniel Allison is one of them, right?
Yeah.
Earl from Lone Star, probably.
Yep.
And that's really all I know of.
Bob Vu has a few that I'm aware of. Chase Baker down in Texas, he's got a breeder male. I don't think he has any breeder females yet. But yeah, there's, like I said, 5 maybe.
Right. Yeah, I think let them figure it out, and if they're having fun doing it, let them do it. I'm not in a rush to go get a scaleless head. I do, however, like what just scaleless head does to the pattern, because it kind of makes it like Ken Masick said it makes it like high def, like it really.
I agree, and that's kind of the way I've approached it. I mean, we produced our first scaleless this past year, and I've made some scaleless head pieds and other combos in that. But I wanted the scaleless. That was something I was shooting for to try to create for myself because I wasn't certainly going to go buy one. But the way I look at it is, if it turns out to be another desert or caramel or whatever situation, or literally the reproduction process and the adult females kills them or what have you, I don't see an issue in using it like we all use champagne and spider and that kind of thing, where we all know it has an unviable or a lethal super or what have you, But I really, of the stuff that I've made and the stuff I've seen people make, I love the scaleless head gene as an enhancing gene, a color changer, a pattern changer. I mean, the scaleless head pied male that I kept back is hands down one of the coolest looking pieds I've got.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's moving forward. I of course I want to see the project succeed. So I want to see the female scaleless on eggs that are viable, that hatch, that reproduce, and so forth. Partially because it'll make my female scaleless that I kept back worth something. But you know, I want to see that succeed. But otherwise, if it doesn't, if somebody actually tries and it fails at it repeatedly or what have you, I don't see an issue I don't think the project needs to die at that point because of the super not being any good. We've got plenty of teams that are like,
right. And also like the microscale out in Europe, you know,
and Kevin McCurley's place,
and Kevin McCurley's place. I know it from Darren Forthrop and Ashley Forthrop from Ashley's Living Art. Their scaleless looks good, but I don't think that they even have females on eggs yet. So
the interesting Jeremy Bod is mentioning in the comments here, and I saw Antoine from High Desert Pythons mention it on Billy's podcast last week too, that in the case of Antoine, he has ultrasounded multiple adult female scaleless and they don't have follicles, according to him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first I've heard of that. And I would have thought after Daniel Allison offloaded like 80% of his scaleless and scaleless head stuff last year.
Right.
If he had then come out at that point and said, look, I've tried this 8 times with these females. Here's the ultrasound pictures. They literally don't have follicles. I don't see any way that they could produce. Then we would all have an answer.
Right.
And he's already gotten out. He's gotten clear of the liability or whatever the case may be. And I got nothing against Daniel. I respect immensely what he does. But why, if that's the situation, why do we not have an answer? That's the part that frustrates me.
Well, maybe, you know, he had to deal with the people that he sold to. Maybe, you know, there's all, types of reasons that, you know, it could be kept secret. I mean, you know, like look at what the original female that Barchek did. Everybody had all the questions about that, you know, about whether that died or not. It's been a very secretive project from the get-go. And only the top people made their money. Okay?
Yeah, I have no validity to this. I'm not saying John's a liar, but he says that Daniel has ultrasounded his females and they do have follicles. So this is my point. You know, it's nothing but hearsay at this point, you know.
Right. But is that on video somewhere?
Who knows? I mean, Daniel kind of went quiet on all of us, you know, early last year or whatever it was, and he's just recently starting to resurface and be a little bit more present. So I mean, he had a bunch of personal life crap or whatever was going on,
right?
You know, and so I don't know. You know, I talked to Earl about it a while back, and he said, you know, we had it on good faith that we should see 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 females this coming season, with proof in that. And Earl's a big part of that project, so that's why I'm saying I'm looking forward to him being on Billy's podcast, because I bring it up over there all the time too, and I want Billy to grill Earl for the actual facts of what the hell's going on, because he's close enough to know.
Yeah, I don't know Earl. I've seen him on Marita's show a couple of times, and he seems like an honest dude. You know, like he seems like if there's a problem with the project, I could see him bringing it up.
Yeah,
you know, and saying, okay, well, you know, this isn't going to work. I tried. You know, I probably lost money on it, but I'll figure out a way, you know, to make just scaleless heads or whatever. So I'd be interested, to see that. And not that I really, I don't want a scaleless, especially like, when that kid fucking killed the scaleless for where the hell you going? This is very professional. Very professional. There you go. You're just like, fuck them. All right, we'll just wait. I think Jason had to take a shit.
No, sorry, I had to blow my nose so it's not just like running down my face. It's all sexy, like, you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. And dude, you know what? For all we know, this Billy interview on Monday, that might be his platform, and he might finally just come out and tell the world, project's fucked, it doesn't work, just breed for the single gene and don't worry about it, you know.
Right,
who knows?
Right.
So I'm really interested in it, but we're getting down to the wire here, man. So I'm gonna let for about another 3 or 4 minutes, I'm gonna let the people in the chat pop up any questions that they have for you, if you don't mind, and then we'll bug out. I mean, you told me it's not going 2 hours, so we got 8 minutes and some change here to wrap it up.
Yeah, god damn it, fucking.
So what's top of mind for you and your collection and your life moving forward? I mean, you got kind of backed out of the snake thing and that. You've got a little collection. Like, you got any?
I got a little collection of
snakes moving up, you know?
Yeah, a little collection, and then I want to get some kind of monitor lizard.
Okay.
Or I want to get some frilled dragons. I've had frilled dragons in the past before, and I really like those. So
any specific monitor species that catches your eye?
Yeah, something that won't fucking scratch the shit out of me when it crawls up on me.
Yeah, that's all of them. No.
I had a Savannah monitor back in LA, and that thing bit me, and that was the most painful bite that I've ever had in my fucking life. And I don't know. It's something that doesn't need a giant cage, because I really don't want to put like a 6-foot cage like you have in my place. I don't know. Maybe I should just get a dog. I don't know. But fucking, but then you gotta walk it. Then you gotta, do all this other shit.
It sucks because I really like the Ackies, the dwarf Ackies in that, because they don't get real big and they still get a monitor, so to speak. But it's just, they're not impressive in the way that I think a monitor should be. You know what I mean? It's like, I look at stuff like Nile monitors and Bell's face lace monitors and stuff like that. I'm like, I want something that smacks you upside the head. Like, damn, that's cool. But then again, could fuck you up if it's all mad.
Yeah. See, I'm past the stage where I'm gonna pay money for shit that could fuck me up. Like I've had cobras, I've had an alligator, I've had to get shit like that, and it's just like in my age now, it's like I was outside the other day, right? And I saw a fence, right? And I thought to myself, hey, I could hop that fence if I wanted to. And in reality, that fence would fucking kill me. Okay. So I don't want an animal that could do that. I may as well get a fucking tiger again.
So you're not going to follow Shane's suggestion here and get beaded lizards?
No, that's so stupid.
That sounds awful. I'm not into hots of any kind, and they're not legal here anyway.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Herbert's wanting to know, can you guys actually have monitors in New York?
I think we can. I think you can't have them in the city. I think you like Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan. I don't think you could have them there, because you can't really even have ball pythons there.
Really?
But outside the city, like in the suburbs in Westchester, where I am, I think you can.
Beast Morph said black, blue, or green tree monitors are the way to go.
Yeah, the other thing that I would get into, speaking of green trees, is green tree pythons. But again, it's maintenance. I don't want to do maintenance. Ball pythons are great because fucking you could check on them once a week, water them once a week, and feed them once a week.
Yeah, and the green trees in Mike's. Well, I don't have any, but they just, to me, feel like they're fragile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I heard that you can move their cages from one side of the room to the other, and the next day they'll drop dead.
Yeah. When I was down at Bill Stiegel's place down in Dallas, the one that makes the plague and the sickness and the flu and I'm waiting for him to produce the COVID, ironically enough. But his green trees are insane. They're nuts. But I'm like, I'll let you keep them because I'm afraid to freaking touch them. They look
right.
like,
Well, that's the whole thing too. Is I have enough friends where they keep stuff that I could just go and see.
yeah.
Or much rather, do that. It's like when they say, don't be the guy that owns the boat, be the guy that's friends with the guy that owns the boat.
Or a truck
mentality right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy was asking, I think this is true. Isn't the sim containers guy in New York as well? He's a monitor breeder.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, you have to look up sim container on Instagram. He's a pretty big name in monitors that I'm aware of, and I think he's up your way.
Oh, okay.
And he also mentioned he really loves his rhino iguanas. That's an animal I could see owning. Those are freaking rad. They're like having a dog,
Yeah. Well, he's actually, me and Garrett Hartle is going to be on the next show, and he was talking about rhino iguanas and how when they look at you, you could tell that they're thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, I've even seen that in the limited interaction I see from Brian Bartek's videos with his Rhino Bella.
Right.
It seems like a dog.
Right.
So, yeah. See, Beast Morph says that they rather have green trees in their. He says that they're easy as hell to care for, but they may be, but they just seem fragile to me.
Right. I had 4 of them back in LA. But I don't, again, the amount of work that an animal entails, I just don't know if I want to, like, I'm that lazy, right?
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I guess before my allergies kill me here for whatever reason, I guess we'll go ahead and I'll let you go. I don't have to steal too much more of your time here.
I can't believe you fucking got me to do a 2-hour fucking live. You know what the great thing is? You kept me on for 2 hours. I kept you on for 15 fucking minutes.
Right? Yeah, nobody's heard that. It doesn't exist as far as they're concerned.
No, it comes out Monday.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I figured that this would be fun.
Are you telling me I'm the 15 minutes of lame on Garrett's podcast?
Yes, I am.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I am like the little chihuahua at Garrett's heels, man. I bug the shit out of him constantly. Garrett's a good friend. I love Garrett to death. He's a great friend of mine. But I'm kind of like that. I'm his most nuisance of a customer that's never bought anything from him. Like it's like he keeps telling me, like, you just need to shit or get off the pot. Just buy one of these freaking super dwarves and rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with. So
yeah, he's fucking awesome. I didn't know him until the interview, and but he's really fucking cool, man. And it's so much more fun talking to non-ball python people.
Yeah.
Especially, after talking to nothing but ball python people for the last couple of years. It's so interesting. So there's going to be a couple of episodes where the people on are not ball python people. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And I like Garrett a lot. He's obviously, well, like I was talking to you before we started the whole carpet python situation. And the thing that I like about Garrett is, a lot like the Morelia community is they're very tuned in particular about keeping things pure and lineages and stuff like that. And I love watching what Garrett's doing because he's single-handedly taken a market and a species that, as far as the community is concerned, didn't ever exist, and now has all 6 or 7 of them, whatever, in his possession, and has reproduced almost every one of them already, which is insane.
Right.
So yeah, it's
funny thing about Garrick is he was in LA the same time I was.
Yeah, at Jay's place.
At Jay's place, yeah, and we used to go to Jay's place all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a little connection that we had right away, and plus he does 55 fucking different podcasts with Cusco, so fucking
no doubt.
Know him through that. So, but yeah, he turned out to be a really, really fucking great guy. I really like him. So,
real quick, Denton's asking about the stuff behind me. 6 by 30 by 18, 3 by 2 by 2, and 3 by 2 by 1. So, all hand built and all leaving in the next couple of weeks. So I've got one last shout out. I got to say thank you again to Herbert at HB Reptiles for coming on board to be the title sponsor of the open mic series. That's freaking rad. And I know you and I had talked about the whole sponsorship thing a while back on how that all works and how to go about it. So I appreciate your input on that as well. But
no problem. I do have a question for you though.
Okay.
Before we go, why don't you get the fucking paid version of StreamYard?
I have the first tier paid version. It's only $10 a month.
Ugh, this fucking StreamYard and this fucking duck, you're killing me. You're like Feely, all right? Jesus
where are you seeing the duck? I see the StreamYard, but
I saw the duck on the left before.
Oh, before I put my thing back up over it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I guess there's no way to do it. Yeah, I'll have to upgrade at some point. It's just I haven't done it yet. I wanted to make sure that this was actually something people were going to come back to and want to watch, So,
invest in yourself. Make it look good. All
indeed.
Right?
Yep.
And you've done like 50 episodes of these things. Fucking take Herbert's sponsorship money and fucking get the paid version.
I've done like 6 of them, but that's okay.
Okay. Well,
I
am a fan.
You got anything else for these guys?
No, that's it. I'm surprised fucking people I fucking become one of the masses. And
it's starting to devolve. It's starting to devolve. Shane's putting ducks in the fucking chat. So
yes.
All right, man. I'm gonna put you aside real quick and sign off with these guys, and I'll be right back with you.
You got it, brother, and thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys. Well, there you go. 2 hours and 2 minutes on the dot. I freaking hung it out there and made him stay. So, huge thank you and shout out to Chris for wasting his night with me. Like that's super rad. And you heard Monday, Snakes and the Fat Man. I am the lamest of the 15 minutes that's going to host up before Garrett's episode. So that'll be super cool. So I'll make sure to share that as well when it comes out. You probably saw this past Thursday, we missed a video. It happens, life, whatever. There will be one this next week. And then next weekend, if all goes as planned, this is like 97% of confirmed at this point. I got to just do some final updating. Next Saturday, same place, same time, should be Brian Barczyk. So that's the plan as of currently. If we show up Saturday and it's somebody else, don't hate me for it. Brian's like the hardest person on the planet to coordinate with, but that's the plan moving forward. Is next weekend is Brian. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out and coming back to the show as always. Thank you again to Herbert HB Reptiles for becoming the first title sponsor to the Mixology Open Mic Night. I really appreciate his help and support. Real quick to Kendra, Puget Sound Pythons. Same old, nothing's changed. So she's about 31 millimeters, I think, when I ultrasounded her. So I don't think we're quite there yet, but I'll keep everybody updated on the Doomerals breeding, something I'm very interested in. So that's going to do it for this week, guys. I will see you in the next one. See ya.